Wrestling Voice Radio with your host, Duane Doogan. Have your wrestling voice heard.
Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Wrestling Voice Radio. We're here live in the Academy in Dublin, joined by none other than Chris Jericho. Chris, thanks for coming on.
All right, man. It's Wrestling Voice Radio and television. You've got all forms of media here.
Yeah, I'm confusing the system.
You guys are masters of your realm.
Before we get into stuff, last time we spoke now, you equaled Mick Foley's record as our most returning guest, and following that, he did a video interview with us, and he said that if you ever equaled that, he'd be forced to come and do a run-in on a Fozzy show. So after hearing that, you had any words for him?
Well, I think Mick is far beyond running at this point. He'd just be kind of like sauntering in. So now, am I beating Mick Foley? Or have I tied him again?
You're tied now.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, it's like Saturday Night Live. It's like Tom Hanks and Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin to see who has the most guest host appearances on Saturday Night Live. So I'll just keep on. Every time he has an appearance, I'll just keep coming back.
Sounds good.
I'm not going to let him beat me.
So you're just after kicking off Fozzy's European tour, kicked off last night in Cork. How did that go?
It was amazing. It was sold out, the show, which is always cool, and great crowd. We love coming to Ireland. I mean, we haven't been here since 2010. This is our third tour in Ireland, and the shows are always amazing. Always great crowds and great reactions, and always a lot of fun. So we're excited for tonight.
Great stuff. And what does it take for a performance? Take tonight, for example, that when you walk off the stage, you're gonna say that was the best it could be.
Well, I mean, it's probably 20% performance on our end and 80% reaction from the crowd. You know, I mean, it's the same thing with a wrestling match. You could have the best gig ever, and if the crowd not really responding or not really into it for whatever reason, not super energetic, the show's only okay. Yeah. You could have the worst performance ever, but if the crowd is going off their heads and going crazy and going nuts, well, that makes it that much better. So you want to put on a great show, and you want to have the crowd respond. So that's usually if you come off the stage and you're sweating and the people are screaming and chanting your name, Fozzy, whatever, you know you had a good show.
People know now that you, when you wrestled, you kept a book of all your matches, the number, the finish, the opponent, the venue. Do you do something similar for Fozzy?
I did, yeah, but now we have all of our gigs since the Chasing the Grail tour up on our site. So I can always I can always print that out and then add it to the original list that I have.
Right, yeah.
Whereas with wrestling, there is no such thing. You know, I mean, you can probably find it nowadays online. I'm sure somebody somewhere has a record of all the matches that took place over the year. Yeah. We can pick them out. But I mean, when I started in 1990, I remember I asked Keith Hart how many matches he'd had, and he didn't know. And I thought, that's so crazy. Like, if I want to find out how many games Wayne Gretzky played in, I can go look it up in a book. Yeah. But in wrestling, they don't have that. So I decided to start my own log, so to speak, and I kept it up all the way to the night after SummerSlam this year.
You were recently quoted as saying that you believe that there may be an attitude in WWE of if you're not with us, you're against us. Have you experienced anything personally that has backed up?
No, I mean, I don't really think that it's like a vicious thing. I just think that there's so much going on in the WWE at all times, and so many stories being written, so many angles being done, so many shows being done that it kind of is maybe out of sight, out of mind is probably a better example. And I'm sure if they had their way, that everybody who ever worked there would be doing nothing but working for them. And if that was the case, you'd have Steve Austin and The Rock and Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart and every single person ever, still working only for them. But guys move on and branch out, and sometimes they support that, sometimes they don't. So.
Okay. It was reported as well that you were in talks with WWE last month to possibly return to TV, but. Again, it's reports that you wanted to keep Fozzy as your priority. If you could work it around the band, you'd be willing to do so. Is there any truth to that?
There wasn't that much detail about it, really. It was just I called them to say I'd be willing to do some shows over the the next few months, whatever, and they were interested in it. And then we just didn't really work out. Just couldn't really come up with anything scheduling wise, because I really can't commit to anything. It'd be more like if I had 2 weeks off, I'd call them, which I thought would be a great idea, but they need to plan and figure it out too. So, I mean, it's one of those things where when you have a lot of stuff going on, it's hard to kind of plug yourself in and out of the WWE schedule, because it goes by, it's like a river. You jump in the river, you float down the river, and then you get out and the river keeps going. So it's hard to jump back in and jump out and jump in. I'm not opposed to going back to the WWE. There's just really no plans of it right now.
Right. And when you returned earlier this year, you worked a storyline with CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
That was one that people were anticipating for a long time if it would ever come across. Are you happy with how that turned out? I think it was the 2 pay-per-view matches, one-on-one, and
yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a great storyline. I thought the matches were great. I would have liked to have done another month and have it be 3 matches, but I thought they were amazing matches. And it is funny, like they talk about if you're not with us, you're against us, outside of mind. I think they just put out a best of 2012 matches, and neither one of the ones that me and Punk had are on it. And that's just obviously a political decision, because I think both those matches were amazing matches that could stand on their own and will stand the test of time for years to come.
In the ring, you've possibly accomplished everything you'd want to, or everything even you could. What's left unticked on the Fozzy bucket list?
Just to continue growing, like I said, I'm talking to you here from Ireland. We're about to play in 10 different countries over the next 3 weeks. It's a pretty cool vibe that we've worked this hard after 13 years to be at this level, and to be continuing to grow. After Sin and Bones came out, our new record, and we got the best reviews of our career, the fastest selling Fozzy record, the highest charting. Played in front of the most people on this tour that we've ever played in front of so far, between the Uproar tour and then all these shows that we're doing on this tour. Been heading to Australia with Metallica, and lots of other plans, being talked about. So it's just to continue to grow. I want each record and each tour to be bigger and better than the last.
Right.
And that's, if Fozzy ended tomorrow, I could be proud knowing that we did it, but I still want more.
Still want more. Mm-hmm. I think one of the first times we spoke, you just released Chasing the Grail, and you said that after doing All That Remains, full of original songs, it was easier to go in and know what to expect with Chasing the Grail. So with all that experience now this is your third, full original album, Sin and Bones. How did you find the making of that album process?
Well, we wanted to do what we think we do best, which is very heavy riffs and very melodic choruses. If Metallica and Journey had a bastard child, it would be Fozzy. And I think that's something that we do that not a lot of other bands do. And we really focused on that and wanted to put together a real cohesive record that had a similar vibe and a similar mood to it. Much like Metallica's Black Album, where you listen to song 1 all the way through to the last song, and it takes you on a journey. And every song fits. And that's what we wanted to do with Sin and Bones. If there was a song that didn't quite fit the mold or the vibe of what we were trying to accomplish, it didn't make the record. And I think we did that. And that's why the record is done so well, because it is a real journey. Song 1, Spider in My Mouth. Song 10, Storm the Beaches. And a lot of diversity and a lot of different styles of music, but still fitting that same mold of what we set out to do when we first started writing the record.
One of those songs now, I sat down and I listened to the album last night, I think it's one of the later ones, Dark Passenger.
Mm-hmm.
I started listening to it, and the opening sequence of that, it reminded me a lot of the Dexter title theme,
mm-hmm.
and then that partnered with the title of the song. That can't be a coincidence now.
Well, no, the title of the song is definitely influenced by Dexter. It's not about Dexter per se, but I always love the concept of a dark passenger. And the title, the beginning of the music was not based on the Dexter theme at all. I think that was written by Rich Ward and a friend of ours who plays piano. But it's funny how you say that, because it could be totally used in a Dexter closing credit, or the theme or a movie or something. But yeah, once again, I would write the lyrics and then give them to Rich, and he would kind of write riffs and melodies based on what the lyrics were speaking to him. Rich doesn't watch Dexter. He doesn't really know what I was talking about when I gave him these lyrics. But the vibe and the creepiness of the lyrics is what led him to write the song that way. And that definitely fits what Dexter's all about.
Right. So Sin and Bones is out now. It's been out for a few months, and you're here in Ireland. You've got all over Europe, Australia next year. People are finally getting to hear these songs live. But even though it's all about Sin and Bones, when do you actually get to cast an eye on Fozzy album 6?
Well, we've already started writing it. On the Uproar tour, which is 6 weeks across the states, we had a lot of time, sitting on the bus, hanging out. We played, I think, 30 minutes a day most of the time, so it's a lot of time to kill. And we did. We started writing songs. I started writing lyrics. We started putting together some ideas and some melodies and some riffs. So we'll do this tour until we've played everywhere that people want to see us play. And then as soon as we're done, we're going to start recording a new record. We're gonna definitely keep striking while the iron is hot and keep the momentum going. That's what we did with Chasing the Grail. That's when Fozzy became the priority for all of us. It was in about 2009, and all of our different schedules. My schedule was built around what Fozzy was doing, and that's why the band continues to grow over the last 2 or 3 years exponentially, very quickly, because we kept the ball rolling. In this business, you have to keep striking. You have to keep striking. It's not like wrestling where you can go away for a while and come back, and people are excited. In music, you got to keep rolling as quickly as you can.
I'm going to wrap up with just a kind of a quick fire round, but before I do that, yesterday on the WWE.com website, they listed the most beautiful people ever to be in the WWE. You made it into number 25 between Lita and Kofi Kingston.
So I'm hotter than Lita, but I'm not as hot as Kofi Kingston?
That, according to the
Who was the hottest?
Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
Followed by Randy Orton, I think.
Well, that's kind of a pretty lame thing to be listed in. You know, top 25 most beautiful people in WWE. It's like, when I got into wrestling, it wasn't to be the most beautiful person, that's for sure. But I guess it's always good to, hey, anytime you can be deemed hotter than Lita, you're doing something right. But that damn Kofi Kingston, he's got those dashing good looks.
He's just so pretty, isn't he?
Jeez.
So yes, a bit of a quick fire round now. What's the background on your phone? The image.
Oh, I was like, background on my phone, is there a story about it? Right now it's a picture of me and my kids on my birthday at Benihana.
Very good. The last song played on your iPod?
Last song played on my iPod was, my phone's upstairs. What was I listening to today? I heard, think about that when we'll come back to it. I'm trying to remember what I listened to today.
What will be your next tattoo? You started getting a few now.
Yeah, I got an idea to do, this one I got with M Shadows, and it's from a German band called Halloween. And we both love Halloween, so he got it and I got it. I'm going to do like a kind of a Maiden, Metallica, Beatles type montage around this area. Like, this will be my music area.
Very good. Your favorite new song to perform live?
Spider in My Mouth, probably. Blood Happens is great too.
If you could duet with anybody, who and what song?
I don't know, something with Paul Stanley.
Paul Stanley. If you could
Let's
wrestle,
say Islands in the Stream with Paul Stanley.
If you could wrestle with anybody, who and where?
I wrestle with everybody, everywhere, every time, every place. Funaki in my basement. Underwear match.
On the tour now, which band member roughs it up the most? You know, stinks up the bus.
Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, he's the buffoon of the. We were last night. We were saying, you know, we have our own spray called Frank's Ass in a Can. That would repel any like criminals or stray cats. Just spray Frank's ass in a can, and it would clear anything away.
So we can expect it on the website soon.
So we have the website very soon. Especially if we could bottle that scent and take it away from him and just put it on site, we would make millions.
Let me see now.
The last song I listened to was a song called Hard Times by an American band called Tora Tora from like 1989. It was on my iPod. That's what came up on Shuffle last.
Very good. The last video you watched on the bus?
We watched the Cannonball Run. We watched Kill Bill last, but Cannonball Run was the best one. It's this crazy movie from 1980 with like all the biggest stars at the time, like Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, and they're all completely drunk. Like for real, for the whole filming of the movie. It's like the best ever. You just watch it, they're laughing, and they just got together. Somebody paid them a lot of money just to drive cars and get drunk. I mean, what a perfect movie.
Sounds good.
Oh, and Farrah Fawcett was in it. She's so hot. She could be the hottest woman. You want to talk about the top 50 beautiful people in the WWE? Top 50 beautiful people of all time? Farrah Fawcett could be at the top of the list.
That's your number one. The best prank you've seen played on the tour bus?
Frank's ass in a can.
And at last, your favorite wrestling podcast to be on?
Wrestling Voikia Radio.
That's us.
Wrestling Voice Radio, where I go for all my wrestling podcasts.
Anyway, Chris, thanks again, and good luck tonight.
Thanks, man. Nice shirt, too.
Cheers.
Who's your favorite Beatle? Don't walk away. I'm asking you a question. You're blocking my shot. Who's your favorite Beatle?
I'll go with McCartney.
Okay, I'm taking Paul, too.
Good stuff.
All right, now you can go.
This is Wrestling Voice Radio with your host, Duane Doogan. Have your wrestling voice heard.